Hello and welcome to the IAPD Parkcast. I'm Wayne Utterback, Director of Communications and Digital Content for the Illinois Association of Park Districts. And today I am joined by Fox Valley Special Recreation Association Executive Director Alex Engelhardt to talk a little bit about the importance of therapeutic recreation in the world of parks and rec. So thank you so much, Alex, for just taking some time out of your day to talk to me.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity.
Can you first kind of give us a brief overview of the Fox Valley Special Recreation Association, and that we kind of get a feel for what you guys do?
This year, we're celebrating our 50th anniversary, so it's an exciting milestone that we've been able to support park and recreation agencies and individuals within their communities with disabilities. So our organization, we have our own programming. Think anything you and I do for fun that we offer for people with disabilities, Special Olympic sports, overnight trips, and then just social programs with friends. And then we provide support to the park districts as well. So if somebody signs up for their member agency park district and they have a disability, the park district might reach out to us for some support. That may come in the form of staff training or even a one-on-one companion that we provide. Our goal is to make sure that there are as few barriers to participation as possible.
Wonderful. Now, specifically, I want to talk to you about therapeutic recreation. That's the theme of our July-August issue of Illinois Parks and Recreation magazine. So, you wrote an article for us about therapeutic recreation. So, I was just wondering, how would you define therapeutic recreation?
My thought is removing barriers, and that's about as minimal as it can be. If all of us have equal access, and that might look different for each one of us, that therapeutic approach provides leisure, recreation, socialization, health and wellness benefits, and it ensures that happens to every individual, regardless if they need sensory support, program modification, a different communication style. And I've got a team of 14 certified therapeutic recreation specialists that help make that magic happen.
Now, is it challenging to find those ways to remove those barriers? Do you find that it's a situation where you have to have the right people in the right spot in order to make it happen, or how
It
difficult is it?
it is a little bit of a balancing act, but my team is fantastic, and they've got the college experience, they've got the practical experience, and for them, they make it as seamless as possible. Things that we do that are a little bit unique, we meet with the individual themselves and determine what modifications might they need. Specifically, our inclusion program, we work with the park district on a one-on-one setting, so we can tailor that specific program to the exact needs of those individuals. On our general program side, we try to ensure that the entire program is designed from the way the program looks and feels to how they register to adaptive equipment that's needed or any modified instruction.
All right. Now, one of the things you mentioned in your article is kind of the challenge right now of bringing new people into the fold in terms of professionals in therapeutic recreation. You mentioned you have a great staff. They're excellent. They know how to handle all the challenges that come with the job. But have you noticed? Have you had challenges with trying to keep professionals or finding new professionals to fill those roles?
Yes, and when I am approached with the challenge, I try to make sure that I am part of that solution. And the whole premise of my article is how FESRA has tried to help influence that steady pipeline. The feedback that we get from all of our families is the staff and their dedication and experience is what truly makes those moments happen and those programs possible. And so having that dedicated team is so important just to our overall success. And our agency is one of the few that requires that CTRS, so the Certified Therapeutic Recreation Specialist certification. And that does come with a few barriers to hiring our full-time staff. So we were intentional about how can we ensure that we have quality staff, and then knew that the old model of staff just coming to us wanting internships was no longer realistic. And so our team, we thought outside of the box. We've partnered with Aurora University for many of the initiatives, a lot of brainstorming opportunities to see what can we do to help with that timeline. So I'm excited to share many of the ways through the article that I wrote, but a little sneak peek. Some we tried to remove the financial barrier. So our foundation has created scholarship programs, and some of our staff are benefactors of those. The scholarship doesn't have to be for FESRA staff, but many of them are. And four of our staff that work for us have benefited from the scholarship dollars, and that just helps ensure that they have access. A few other things are we try to build the therapeutic recreation program with other universities having their programs decline. Thankfully, Aurora University, just here in our back pocket, is the largest program in the state. We've been creative on creating opportunities to have their students come in and support some of our programs. Our adult participants just love having new faces in there, creative ideas, and then it truly brings the practical experience into that classroom setting. And so that's been one of the reasons that Aurora program has grown so significantly. So Wayne, had you asked me this question 10, 15 years ago, I would have had a much different answer. The thought of how do we continue to offer the CTRS certification and that requirement, it wasn't this easy of an option. And I use the word easy probably a little lightly. It is a lot of work and intentionality on our end to get where we were. Chris Johnson at Aurora University, she and I work very well together with that yes and mentality of what can we do next? How can we help ensure that staff and the professionals are ready to go?
Now, you mentioned staff. I know in your article you kind of talk a little bit about the seasonal staff and seeing if there's any way you might be able to guide some of them into a career in therapeutic recreation. Have you found that it's like easier to utilize those people who maybe already are engaged in your agency and the things that you do in order to like get them to go down that path?
Yes, when we have almost 400 part-time staff, and I would say almost all of them are interested in a future career path in the special needs world. Some may be special ed teachers, adapted PE. Therapeutic recreation is not the first major that many high schoolers think of. So that's been another challenge is how do we let future students know about therapeutic recreation? I'm a prime example. I started out as a chemistry major and a teaching major before I found the degree of therapeutic recreation. And that is a very common trajectory that students have. I have the opportunity to guest lecture at Aurora University, and then also I started teaching there as well. And when I asked students, how did you find therapeutic recreation? Maybe two or three of them knew about it as a freshman. Many of the professionals find it through alternative means. So yes, Wayne, that's a huge goal of ours when we have staff training. So this summer we had 75 part-time staff ready to go for summer day camp. And we are very intentional on letting them know about therapeutic recreation as an educational option. And what does that look like? We talk about therapeutic recreation, that we have a team of professionals, and that has helped. I was excited to report from Aurora University that they've had more freshmen or incoming freshmen declaring therapeutic recreation as a major, where 5 and 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. Most of the students were transferring in from other programs. So
That's
it really
excellent.
is a multifaceted approach. And there are so many different layers into building the therapeutic recreation profession.
I was going to say, when you're talking about like the start of the path, like getting on the path of therapeutic recreation, are you doing any work with like high schools? Like, I mean, obviously some of those seasonal staff are of high school age, but are you doing anything else in terms of reaching out to those schools to maybe like before they even step foot into college, that they do have at least an idea of what therapeutic recreation is?
Yes, we partner with the local high schools and we try to give back as well. We're, as a special recreation, we're all often asking for this, asking for money, for facilities. So it's nice that we can give back as well. And so we'll go to different high schools with their PE leadership programs or their other leadership programs within the schools and share about therapeutic recreation. What happens to have the biggest impact is when we bring the students in to our programs. Batavia High School and some schools in Aurora will come to our office for that more experiential learning. And if we can get the purchase or the students to not just hear me talk about how passionate I am, but when we can get them face to face with our adults, where they can see the smiles, they can feel the joy and the excitement, that's where we've had a big success for that transition of getting them into the career path to know that, hey, therapeutic recreation is a valid and important and needed career path.
Now, what would you say is like a quality of somebody that you would be looking for in terms of like someone who's going to be successful in therapeutic recreation? What is it you would say makes somebody stand out?
Uh, Patience is probably my first goal. These jobs, as many of us know, can be stressful, can be challenging. So patience and just that warm personality are usually my top two. Our staff can help teach the different disability types, so somebody doesn't have to be an expert. They don't have to have years of experience. They don't have to have a family member that had a disability to feel confident jumping into that role. So patience and passion are probably my two biggest qualities I'm looking for.
All right. And now I have just one more question for you. And it's kind of a bigger, wider reaching question, but like, what do you feel ultimately therapeutic recreation brings to a community? What is it about therapeutic recreation that you feel really benefits the community?
The biggest benefit is just being intentional that the entire community is welcome. And that is a big ask. It sounds simple, but you've got to be aware of who's in your community. What are the areas that maybe need some direct intervention, and letting people know that, hey, our community values you. We want you to be part of this. And we're not just going to have the playground that's accessible. We're not just going to have the one program designed for people with disabilities, but our policies will be open and inclusive. Our marketing and our outreach efforts, our staffing, our training, all levels of what we do, either as therapeutic recreation professionals, or I'll challenge even all of our park districts as well to look at it with that therapeutic lens. And if there is one more thing that they can do to make access easier, the space more enjoyable and accessible, I would challenge them to do that. I've got a few participants in my mind that I think of when we're coming up with a new challenge, and I have them on the back of my mind of, can that person access this program? Does this person have either the technology that they need, the transportation that they need? And that's helped us become a little bit more innovative. This one individual, she uses a wheelchair to access the world, but she doesn't have transportation. And so that becomes a challenge when she's at her house and doesn't have access. So we expanded our door-to-door transportation so that it can go right to her house without her needing to get to a pickup point location. I also thought of her when we created our virtual program. So during COVID, with everything shut down, we launched virtual programming, but she was watching from her small, non-smart cell phone. And so she was just listening in. So we started a resource library where she could rent technology to become more engaged. So it's just those little steps of looking at a challenge or a problem and thinking, what's one step that we can do to ensure they have access?
Well, I can personally say I find it incredible when I see all the work that special recreation agencies they perform on a daily basis. It's very hard for me to even fathom how do you handle so many different needs of so many different people all within like one group of people. So it's just I think it's incredible, and I really do thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your wisdom with the article you wrote for the magazine. If anybody is listening to this podcast right now and they haven't checked out the article yet, there's a link in the description here of the video, and you can also pick up a hard copy, I'm sure, at any of your park districts or special recreation agencies that are nearby. So thank you so much, Alex. I really do appreciate your time, and keep doing that amazing work that you do over there. I look forward to keeping in touch and seeing what else you guys come up with.
All right. Thank you so much, Wayne.
All right, thank you.